Hey everybody, happy Tuesday, Wednesday. Wow, it's Wednesday. My bad. How you guys doing? Kerry Pope, and hope you're doing well. Want to come on today and do my second video. So what am I doing? Get my lighting right. I'm doing 30 days of live videos. Hey Monique, how you doing? And so it consists of various topics that I've gone through and that I want to share in correlation with what's going on in life. So today's message is the title is "What's Wrong with Kanye West," and I'm going to talk about that because I can relate to some things he's going through and have been through, and sometimes we pay attention to actions more than we pay attention to the problem. And so I hope you're all doing well. I'm not going to be long. Again, I thank you for joining me. Yesterday I did one about Will Smith, and so many of you have written me and said, Kerry, great insight on the whole concept, because I never looked at it that way. That Will was struggling, and he shared with us in his book things that he was struggling with. And so today, hey Rashida, how you doing? Good to see you, sweetheart. It's been a while. It's been a while. Good to see you. So what's wrong with Kanye West? Kanye, brilliant artist. Let me turn my music down. Kanye is a brilliant artist, someone that has been in the music industry for years. His new CD, Donta, is about his mother. And it's great, it's just phenomenal. From Gold Digger to Flashing Lights, all the stuff that he's done has been really remarkable as an artist. But he's struggling as a person. And I want to share something with you. I've had the opportunity, and my wife and I, to be around a lot of celebrities. And sometimes people think because you have a lot of money, you don't have any problems. Biggie Smalls told us before he passed, more money, more problems. And people don't understand the concept of celebrity status. And just because you have that status doesn't mean that you have your stuff together. There's a lot of broken people that are rich. We saw it again displayed this weekend with Will and Chris. But I want to talk today about, what's wrong with Kanye West. Now, what's interesting about Kanye is this. Many times his antics get lost in his talent. So if you've been watching lately, he's been in a big argument with Pete Davidson about his wife. He's divorced his wife, and he's got his children, and he's having a meltdown. You've been seeing him put pictures up and conversations, and it's sad because we're seeing a man that's hurting. And I want to go back further than his current actions, because today I want to talk about mental health and divorce, but I want to use Kanye West as my focus. And so I go back to when he was really at his height. He's a billionaire now, so he's been doing this for a minute. But when he really was at his height in his music industry, when his mom was living, and his mother, as many of you know, she went to have a surgery and she died of a massive heart attack, and it messed him up. Now, before that, we don't know. I don't know of Kanye having any mental meltdowns. But after his mother's death, after that death, when she passed, it took him somewhere. It took him to a place almost to no return. And again, we have a tendency to think because a person has money that they shouldn't have any problems or they can get help with that. But I don't know if any of you have experienced death of someone who's your rock. This past August, I experienced it, with my mother. My mother had been with me for years, by my side through divorces, by my side through church, by my side through going out of town and out of the country, a state to preach. And I remember when she and my dad was younger. My dad died at the age of 53, the age I am now. He died of leukemia. And I remember they were saying as they got older, they were going to travel the world to see the sights. And so as my father passed, one of the things I took upon myself concerning my mom was to make sure that she enjoyed the things that my dad couldn't give her. I wanted to make sure that she enjoyed life and was able to eat at the best places, ride in the best cars, go on the best trips, and just make sure she had the best living. That was the thing. When my father was transitioning, I promised him, Dad, listen, you can go on and be with God. I got Mom, and I'll make sure she's okay. So my job as the eldest in my home was to make sure Mom was okay. And so for 20 plus years, I did that. And when it came time for my mother to pass, it did something to me mentally. It shook me, because I don't know how many of you are close to your parents. Or has any of you ever lost your mother? Or maybe you young ladies are close to your father and you lost your father, but you lost somebody significant, and it shakes you. Can I be honest with you? Nobody wakes up and choose to be mentally ill. Nobody wakes up and choose to be chemically imbalanced. You know, when you look at someone who's mentally ill, it's really a chemical imbalance, which is no different than you having a headache and taking an aspirin to help balance the headache or whatever that is to turn it off to give you balance. When a person is struggling with mental illness, they are struggling with imbalance. And usually it comes through some traumatic experience or some loss of someone very close. In the case of Kanye West, his mom. And so imagine when you're at the height of what you're doing and you're really changing the world and you're really, and then you lose that rock. He lost his rock. And the stability that he had now being gone is open because now who can better calm that beast inside of you than your mom? Who can better, tame that anger or say those words to you than your mom that can bring you back to balance? And so in the case of Kanye, he had to endure this. And so we're seeing this meltdown with his wife and his children and, Pete Davidson and the arguments. And, we're saying the antics that he's doing makes no sense. But as someone who's lost their mom, someone who for a while had to get medicated, and I'm an advocate of medicine for those who are chemically imbalanced. Because let me say something to you. Again, it doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter your status, doesn't matter your finances, doesn't matter your anointing, it doesn't matter anything. Everybody goes through something where you need a little help. But most times people turn to drugs as they're self-medicating. Some turn to alcohol to self-medicate. Some turn to sex to self-medicate. In other words, when we see someone who is not medicated, they have outbursts and they have things as we've seen with Kanye. And my kids love him to death. One of my sons is very, he'll fight you over Kanye. He loves him to death. And I was talking to him about if Kanye was to do something, if we were to hear a word of Kanye going in and, if Kanye had walked up on the stage and smacked Chris Rock, none of us would have been surprised, right? We would not be, if Kanye, because we remember when Kanye took the mic from Taylor Swift and said Beyonce should have won the award. When Kanye was on the news and said George Bush doesn't like black people. We all have developed this cushioning that, all right, something's wrong with him. And then we saw the latest news with his wife. And then, we saw the news with the children and with Pete Davidson and all that's going on with Noah and the different ones that he's been talking about. There's a great sign of mental illness. And whether he's medicated or not, when you go through a traumatic experience and you don't do the work, you don't get the help, this is what we see, outburst. As a black man, one of the taboos for black men is we don't get therapy. Therapy is for crazy people. And therapy, people that go, get black men that get therapy has issue. They're weak. No, I wish a lot of more black men would sign up for therapy instead of taking therapy through a woman or therapy through a drug or a pill, therapy through sex. Black men need to have therapy, period. Black men need to sign up and get the help they're needing because, it doesn't make you weak. If anything, it makes you strong. And can I be honest with you? And dealing with, relationships and people that are looking for a husband or wife, if a female has went out here and done the work to be mentally whole and she's worked through her breakups, she's worked through the baby daddy mama drama stuff, all that craziness, right? She's worked through having to do, raise the children by herself, no child support or no support. Now, every man's not like that. There are some men that are doing their part like myself, but the single mother who's having to raise that home, because a single family household today is greater than it was in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. And so if she's done the work and gone to therapy and took the classes like we offer, the Work Master class or the new one I put out, the Authentically Me Self-Esteem course. If they're doing the work and then they meet a guy who they see is toxic, he's mentally unstable, he hasn't done the work or got medicated or did whatever's necessary, you think she wants to be with him? And let me be honest with you. There are some people that are in relationship with people that are chemically imbalanced and they're mentally unstable. And they do all they can to work through it, but you have to do your part. You have to do your work. You have to take your medicine. As I stated before, when I went through a traumatic period, when I lost my mom, I had to get medicated for about a month to help me just to cope, to not have a breakdown because it was so much going on at one time. I'm talking to somebody this morning who's going through a lot, who's stressing and struggling just to survive. You're straining and your mind is all over the place. And yeah, we know how to pray. We know how to put it under the blood. But can I be honest with you? Baby, there's some things you can't put under blood. There's some things you got to put under therapy. There's some things you got to put under mental health awareness and go in and get medicated and get a psychologist and a psychologist to examine you, and a psychiatrist who will give you the medication that's needed to balance you. Because all it is you got so much on you and so much going on that there's no balance. And as you get older and if you have a lot of responsibilities upon you, if you're a person that has a lot of weight that you carry, you have to be mentally balanced. Because if I be honest with you, it doesn't take much to break you mentally. When you look at, as I said, Will Smith this weekend and talking about Kanye today, the things that they're doing doesn't take much to break them. All it takes to break a person is that little straw, as they say, that breaks the camel's back. And for me, I had some things. If I was to tell the testimonies of what I went through last year, around my mom's death, it's by the grace of God I still have my right mind. That's why when I see Kanye melting, when I see Kanye acting out, when I see Kanye, hold a sign up, I'm going, dude, I don't know if people look at him saying he's looking crazy, but what it really is, he's hurting. Have any of you ever hurt before to the point that you've done something that was crazy? Maybe it didn't get the attention that it's getting for Kanye because Kanye is an icon. He is an icon in the music industry, so his platform is bigger. But some of us have driven by our ex's house and sat outside and pondered, should I go knock on the door and see who she or he in there with? Some of us have done things where people have stolen money from us, wanting to ride by and do a drive-by. All our thoughts haven't been pure and holy and bless you and let's hold hands and sing Kumbaya. Let's be honest. We've had moments where if it wasn't by the grace of God, or as that song says, had it not been for the Lord on my side, tell me, where would I be? Some of you right now should be having on a straight jacket or have on an EF number with an orange jumpsuit for being in jail, because some of the stuff that God shielded us from and protected us through. But how long can we keep getting by on the grace of God before God says, hey, I've done my work, you need to do yours? Rebecca and I have written courses here. We have the Work Masterclass, which I'm going to put in the link, and I definitely want you to sign up for it. It'll help you work through problems. We wrote these courses after going through our own personal healings, by doing the work, by having therapists, by seeing people that worked us through the process. I even said when I went through the darkest times of my life, I had to get medicated. I had to take my little pill to help me. We call it the happy pill, because I was fighting depression. I was fighting just hurting. When you're expected to be the family leader, expected to be the husband, expected to be the pastor, expected to be the oldest son who's taking care of your mom, and expected to be all this leader on your job, because I've always been in leadership, that's a heavy pair. That's a heavy load to carry. And many of you watching me, if you be honest, you've had some days where you considered getting some help. Well, I want to encourage you today. Mental health, divorce, that's what Kanye's battling. The mental health, the straw that broke his back was his mom's death. And over the years, we've been seeing the breakdowns. For me, when I lost my father, I had a tough moment. Went through my divorces, I had a tough times. When I had my mother passing, and even had to go to jail. And we don't get into all that. But sitting there saying, how in the hell did I get here? And God had to walk me off the ledge. Has God ever had to walk any of you off the ledge? See, these 30 days are transparency of my life to help somebody that think that you're in this boat by yourself. Kanye West is not in a boat by himself. There's some of you right now that are just as hurt as he is, or just as broken as he was or is. And I was that broken, but I still do the work every day. I do my affirmations every day. I meditate and pray every day. I have my therapist I see every other week. He's my accountability. How many of you can say, Carrie, you're telling the truth? I need to be accountable. Just praying and asking God to take it away is not the answer. You have help. You have people that you can go to that can help you work through it. That's right, James. And James is my cousin. We as Pope men are very prideful men. We are strong, prideful black men. But I'm pulling back the veil to say, even being so prideful and carrying that name, I had to go do the work, or somebody's going to see my tombstone. Somebody would have came to see me in jail. And people wonder how people snap and break. Baby, it doesn't take much for you to snap. If it only takes 7 pounds of pressure to break someone's neck, do you know how easily Will Smith could have killed Chris Rock with that slap? Because I'm pretty sure it was more than 7 pounds that hit him. And he was bracing as though he's going to say something, not expecting a punch. Kanye, if he was to walk into a store today, if it came with the news that Kanye West went up in a convenience store and shot up the place, or he's driving down the expressway like O.J. Simpson, none of us would be surprised. We'll be like, oh, there you go again. But that's not good. It's not good to sit back and wait for the next news article to come on. Hey, Stephanie, God bless you. How you doing, sweetheart? It's been a while. Hope you're doing well. The ministry is going well. I want to encourage you today to do the work. If you need to be medicated, see a psychiatrist, see a psychologist, lay on somebody's table or a couch, sign up for our classes, the Work Master class, or sign up if you're struggling with self-esteem, which breaks a lot of this stuff, and identify it. Sign up for it today. Hey, Christy, what's up, baby girl? Good to see you. I love you too. My daughter's on. And so, guys, listen. If you need to sign up for any of our courses, they're available. The link will be in the description below. And James said, this is on time for me. That's good, cuz. And if I can be honest, James, I know you. A lot of the stress that we carry, because as men, we carry a lot of stress. And we try not to show it because we're strong. But what happens with the stress that we carry, and I want to talk to men and women right now, and especially my cousin here, we carry this stress to the point the stress starts to take effect on our bodies. Do you not know when you internalize stress, it messes with your blood pressure, it brings on diabetes, it brings on cancer, it causes you to be forgetful, it causes you to be driving in a funk. All these things, and then all it takes is one thing to happen and you snap. Can anyone be transparent like me and say, Carrie, I have snapped before and it wasn't pretty? I remember snapping one time and I saw just red. It was like straight red. Stress messed me up so bad, baby girl, to where, you know what? I remember this one incident where someone pulled a knife on me when I was younger. And I'm not a fighter, I just don't believe in that. And but this person pulled a knife on me and I blacked out. When I came to, the knife was in my hand and the person was cut. And I was going, but I was going through so much at that time to where when I snapped without knowing. So you don't know, nobody wakes up and go, I'm going to snap today. Christy said, I have snapped recently at my husband, not pretty, no. Nobody wakes up going, well, what you going to do today? Well, I'm going to go to the park. I'm going to go shopping. I'm going to snap. Nobody, wakes up to snap. But when a person gets quiet and gets distant, they're on the verge of snapping. There are signs that show when people are getting ready to snap. And like I said with Kanye West, if he was to do something right now crazy, none of us would be surprised, even remotely. Mental health, guys, is no joke. And again, it doesn't matter your anointing, doesn't matter your bank account, doesn't matter your sex, doesn't matter anything. People are hurting. People have grown up in life being bullied, being molested. There's a lot of people that's been molested. They never told anyone, but they're struggling. They want to love their husband. They want to love their wife. They want to be able to hug them and take the affection. But that touch reminds them of the molestation. And because of who did it, maybe a family member, they can't talk about it because to talk about it would cause craziness to jump off. And so what do people do? They harbor it. They don't say anything, and they're struggling mentally. There's people who have emotionally turned themselves off because they can't afford another hurt. I remember when I was going through my hardest time in life, I was going through divorce, and I remember watching the police officers drive up the driveway, and I'm like, what are they coming here for? And then going to the door, and they serving me divorce papers, and I'm sitting there going, damn, what just happened? And I remember getting my daughter ready to go to school. And she said, Daddy, she was about 4 years old. And me thinking I got to let my daughter go. You guys understand, it was a lot going on. Living in a $700,000 house, having to figure out how to it was just crazy. And I remember sitting on my stairs, losing it. Because men don't cry. Don't believe the lie. Real men do cry. Crying is a natural process of releasing emotional blood. Tears is emotional blood. When you cry, you're no different than getting cut, and your cut flows the blood. That's what tears are. And I remember crying, I couldn't hold it back. And I mean that cry that came from the soul that had me jerking because mentally I was breaking. And if I hadn't, and had I not cried, I would have snapped. Somebody know what I'm talking about. And when I cried, I got up. Right now, I see more students in my office with fear, anxiety, and depression than ever before. Yes, Christy. Yes, baby. People, hear me today. Kanye West is dealing with anxiety, stress. Can you imagine really he loves his wife now. Listen, don't get it twisted. He loves his wife, his ex-wife. Now, he loves her dearly. But because of his mental illness and other things that go on, they couldn't work it out. So could you imagine? And some of you that have ever had a mate and they're with somebody else now, you can attest to this. Before you got healed over them, the thought of them being with someone else drove you crazy. See, there's a lot going on that you got to do the work with, guys. You got to have somebody to walk you through. I work with people one-on-one, and I would love to work with you because you got to have somebody that's already been there that can walk you through off the ledge. People are committing suicide. People are doing crazy crimes and just doing so much injustice because they're really crying out, help me. Kanye is screaming for help. Will Smith screaming for help. Other celebrities, and like I told you, I'm around celebrities a lot, and I'm telling you, they're not what you think they are. They are jacked up, tore up from the floor, hurting. But because of their status and how they're looked upon, they can't let it shine. They can't show it. And so, as I get out of here today, I want to encourage you. Sign up for one of our courses. Sign up for the Work Masterclass. The Work Masterclass does an in-depth dive into your life. It helps you to go and do soul searching, write letters about things to let go of. It helps you to release that which has been holding on to you. Just released this week, Authentically Me, the self-esteem class, which deals with low self-esteem. I encourage you to get it. I do. And so you're right, Chrissy. It hurts to watch this. And as someone who's a empath, I can see all this. I can see the hurt. I can feel their pains. And God knows I wish I could speak and work with them because I know what's needed. It goes deeper than the actions. Actions is the way of saying I'm hurting. Watch this, and I'm going to close with this. When a person has cancer, the cancer before it's caught has already been there. And usually some symptom causes you to have to go to the doctor to get diagnosed with it. And based on how early you catch it is what stage it's in. And so when a person is acting out, that is their sign that something has been going on internally. It's not like cancer just showed up one day. When my mother died of cancer or my father died of leukemia, it didn't just show up one day. It was always there. Hey, Victoria, God bless you, sweetheart. How you doing? So good to see you as well. And the same is with Kanye West, with Will Smith, with other celebrities, with maybe you. If you have an outburst, that outburst didn't come from the spur of the moment. That outburst has been building up. Because I love you wholeheartedly as well, my brother. You know that. I mean, you know that. We brothers for real. Love you, brother. Love you. But when a person has an outburst, that outburst is emotions that have built up, no different than you driving a car and it runs hot. It blows off top. We're seeing it. We're seeing meltdowns in front of our eyes. And, it hurts because if you don't do the work, you're going to blow up. If you don't do the work, you're going to have a meltdown. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. You hear me, guys? So sign up for the Work Masterclass or get the new Authentically Me course. It's only $79. I promise you it'll be the best investment you ever made. You need to do the work. And if you don't want to work with myself or Rebecca, find yourself a therapist. Okay? Don't get me wrong. I'm a man that believes in prayer. I do. But I'm also a man that believes that God gave us prayer to go with the work that we've done. So I pray that God help me. God sent me a therapist, or God may have sent me to you. You found us. Now do the work. Don't just say, God, take it away. God said, no, I gave you the avenue to work on it. Do the work. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. Again, what's wrong with Kanye West? He's having a mental meltdown. And I pray he gets the help that's needed. And you may be having a mental meltdown. Do what's necessary to get the help I'm here for you. Courses are here for you. And you can always email me or write me. If you want to email me, you can email me at hello, HELLO, at carrieapope.com. Or you could inbox me right here. But guys, I love you much. Blessings and abundance to you. I will see you on tomorrow. Take care now. Bye-bye.